Great. Nice to be here once again, and thank you for being here with us. I would like to thank Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho for being here earlier with us on the show. Let's move over. And then, Tomilola, what do you make of it? If you probably pick up 29 million naira monthly, what do you think you're going to do with that?
Firstly, I'm going on vacation and then invest, yes. But I'm going to do a lot of spending spree, fashion, the likes. And then eat well.
But on a serious note, let's look at this controversy between that's ravaging the society about this monies thus far. Do you feel it's exorbitant?
Of course it is. And looking at the outcry of the public regarding economic issues, not having enough to have a good livelihood, and then you have some senators in the National Assembly collecting bogus amount of money for just sitting and talking and then implementing laws. And then we have people who are really doing the work, but they are getting 70,000 naira. We know how long it took them to pay 70,000 naira.
Not all the states.
Now look at some of the outline of the payment.
Yeah.
I saw hardship allowances. Who are those going through the hardship? Is it not we, the citizens? Or I feel that should be looked into.
Just hope the needful will be done. We'll keep our fingers crossed and let's see what this. But for me, I just feel if the National Assembly legislation can just be part-time, I think it's not going to be too fanciful for some people. And but let's get moving. At this point in time, the next guest is online. We will definitely be speaking with him via the phone lines this morning to help us out to look at a review of the federal government's tactics to combat insecurity. And at this point in time, we are being joined by a security expert and analyst. It's our pleasure to welcome and say good morning to Mr. CHUKS MAHA, PhD. Mr. MAHA, good morning and thank you for taking time out to be with us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure as usual to be on air with you guys.
Thank you so much. I don't know what you feel. Are you part of those who will say the monthly allowance by senators is good at this period in time?
I am one of those who said it's not worth it. The cost of governance in Nigeria is just too high. It's the most expensive form of governance anywhere in the world. And we should learn, if it's possible, to make governance less attractive in terms of if you want to serve, you come to serve voluntarily. And no official cars, no official houses, no official clothes, no still allowance, come and serve your community. And I think it will become less attractive and become much better. Whoever wants to come into governance was ready to serve.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. MAHA. But let's get down to the business of the morning. Tomilola is saying hello, but she'll be coming to you. Let's look at the tactics being adopted by the federal government in combating the state at which insecurity is in Nigeria today. There is virtually no day that the papers don't get a review of happenings of killings here and there, kidnappings here and there, all these things. And can this ever stop? Can the federal government do something much more than what they are doing presently? Because before you know it, sir, you hear they get to buy Tucano planes, they have hardwares and this and that, and still all this state of insecurity still persists. Is the federal government getting it right, or there's something missing out?
Yeah, it's a two-way attack.
Okay.
The government want to start with is playing politics with security from my own perspective. From my own perspective, I want to reiterate, to mention that. That's one. Two, we know there's a direct correlation between the state of the economy and insecurity. There's an inverse relationship. When the economy goes down, insecurity goes up. When the economy goes up, insecurity comes down. So if the government actually wants to tackle the issue of insecurity, it should first tackle the economy, first and foremost. Secondly, like was said earlier in the program today, the lifestyle of the elites in this country, which is made up more of the politicians and some other captives of industry, doesn't help matters. You see guys driving the best of cars, living the best of houses, and the best of areas of things. It sends signals, wrong signals to the rest of the populace. It's like a slap on the face. That's one. And of course, the youth of today, with the way and manner people are turned up from our various high institutions everywhere in the country, we have so many high institutions, teen unemployment, everybody wants to get there. Morality has dropped. Our religious houses have failed, both as Christians and as Muslims. The leaders have failed. We've stopped preaching morality now. It's a question of what can you give to the religious houses now. So it's a question of get rich quick and get this money anyhow you want to get it. Even if it means you're dying to get it, you die while getting it, it doesn't matter. So that's why I say it's a two-way thing. You can look at it from different angles, both from the government and from the civilian populace. But however, let's look at it directly because the government has to set the pace, first and foremost, and for others to follow to. I want to say that the government has been getting it wrong ever since ab initio, believing that security can only be tackled by itself. The truth is that the business of security is not just the business of government. It's everybody's business. And once that is embraced, then the National Security Advisor to the President must come down, have a rethink, and have an open forum where he's not limited only to the serving military forces or paramilitary. What I'm trying to say is that you should extend the corridor, the scope of the review, expanding beyond the police and the military, but to co-opt other persons into private security agencies, the traditional rulers to be brought in, students, National Students Union brought in, National Road Workers Union brought in. And by the time we have this, configuration of so many people, we'll be able to brainstorm and be able to reduce the state of insecurity in the country, because we who wear the shoes know where it actually pinches. The market women, these members of nefarious activities or gangs, whatever you want to call them, are no spirits. They live with and amongst us. That's the truth. So we get to know them. Some of us know them, some of us are scared of them, some can't report to them, some are being sponsored by the very people who are meant to protect us. So it means we need to come to a gathering, cross the T's, dot the I's, speak the truth, and then fight this war.
All right.
All right, Mr. CHUKS, we all know that insecurity is a menace in Nigeria. So how is it effective is the policing? Does it show that the policing in Nigeria is ineffective, meaning that some of these perpetrators don't get the right punishment for their crimes? We have issues of banditry, kidnapping, and then we still have it. It's still occurring in every state in Nigeria. Do you feel that the main reason why we still have insecurity in Nigeria is based on the fact that there are no right punishments for this violence in Nigeria?
Yes and no. Those that have been caught, what has happened to them? Each day we hear, oh, a kingpin has been brought down. We don't hear anything else again. After it's been celebrated in the media, nothing happens again. So I think we need to get this right. Everybody has to be involved. You guys who are into journalism must go into investigative journalism, where you follow it from the beginning to the end. That's one. Two, the legislature. Two have failed. Judiciary has failed. When you have delay in justice being dispensed, things like this begin to happen. The executive too have failed. What are the military, the police, paramilitary doing? When you pick these people, what do? The evidence is clear. Once you find them with the evidence, with the firearms at the scene, a witness has said this and that, you have the victims someplace, what are you waiting for? Whiling away time and playing around with taxpayers' money? Once people know that it's no longer lucrative, it's no longer business as usual, you are involved in kidnapping, you're picked up. I want to say, not just only you go, every member of your family goes along down with you. I remember sometime in the country then, when you were picked up for armed robbery, they take you to your hometown and they kill you there. So everybody sees the disgrace that's been brought to the family. It reduced armed robbery then in Nigeria. Let's go back again, back to it. If that is what's going to happen, we do go back again to firing squad, not hanging in prison, or we don't know who is actually hung. So let's go back. We can see, we can identify, and we'll see this person then go down. We don't go back, because sometimes, like I say, the best way to prevent war is to prepare for war. If you need to get and curb something, then you go and nip it directly down on the head.
Mr. MAHA, do you feel the federal government has made mistakes with the appointment of this head of security agencies, at this point in time? Because Nigerians are saying there's been no difference from what we had the former heads of security agencies in Nigeria and the ones we have now. Everything is still the same thing.
Yes, there have been no mistakes, none whatsoever. The Chief of Army Staff, the Inspector General of Police, including the NSA, these are people that have had some wealth of experience. I have no problem with the appointments of anybody. My own problem here is you appointing somebody is one thing. Allowing the person to do the details of the job is another thing. That's the thing. And that's why I talk about lip service being played with security, the politics of security. If you appoint somebody and you tell him, give him the terms of reference, and say, yes, this is what I expect you to do. You have my blessing, go ahead and do it. Then you can then see, yes, this is what this guy is doing. But not when he gets down there, you tell him, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. You're going to go with bandits, you tell him, you can't kill the bandits. You can only use rubber bullets. Just maim them, don't kill them. What are we talking about? That's where you're just playing a bit down the bush. So that's mine. It's not the appointees. It's the temperament, the spoken language of governance from the presidency. When I mean presidency, I'm not talking only Mr. President now. Presidency involves every other person there working with him and around him. The body language of the presidency, including Mr. President, trickle down to all the service chiefs must be spoken with one. This is what we want. This is what we shall do. And this is what we must do. Once we have that, I want to believe all the service chiefs will sit up. I have no problem with them individually. But I know that there are certain things undermining which preventing them from doing what they're meant to do. The politics behind it.
Wow.
All right, sir. It's also in the news that the federal government deploys 10,000 agro rangers to 19 states in Nigeria and the FCT to combat insecurity in farms. And as we know that one of the reasons why farmers don't go to their farms is because of insecurity, where their lives are not assured, even their crops are not in safe hands. Do you feel that this rangers, agro rangers, will be helpful for the farmers?
I just believe we're just going to have a mass burial for these rangers, personally. I don't think they're equipped. They need to be trained. We don't need to have that. What I need is a joint task force of both the military, when I'm talking about the military, the Army, Navy, Air Force, including the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and of course, the local hunters in that particular location where they are going to be deployed to. Without the local hunters, the so-called rangers are going to waste their time. That's one. Two, are we saying these rangers are going to live full-time in the farms, in the hinterland, far from civilization? If the answer is yes, what provision are you providing for them? What kind of communication gadgets are they going to carry in there? Are you going to say the NCC is going to provide certain things for them? Is it Turai or what kind of communication gadgets are going to be using while there? Because they must be able to communicate. If they need reinforcements, what kind of arms and ammunition are they going to take down there? Are they going to have traditional backing? We have a traditional backing that no matter whether you use a machete or a gun, it will not penetrate into their skins. What kind of welfare are you going to give to them? Are they going to be insured? What kind of policies are you going to put in place that if anyone loses his or her life while going, as it were, being patriotic to defend this country, the family will not suffer? These things must be put in place before anybody can adequately and willingly go down there. That's one. The second one again too, there's so much of it. These people bank the money. These people carry their money. We need to have aerial support. Aerial support. We must have functional helicopters flying 24/7 with searchlights. The money they are spending for the cost of governance should be put into security. Each governor is given a security vote. We can start off by ensuring that every state governor now buys a minimum of 5 helicopters and be functional to make sure you have provision for each helicopter, 3 drums of diesel for each helicopter every day. The marketers, independent marketers, NNPC must contribute that to aviation fuel, however it is, to ensure that these helicopters are functional and they're flying and they'll all be under the police. So there are many things we can do to curb this. If a hoodlum knows that if he's going to perpetrate any havoc anywhere in the country, he knows it can be picked up by a helicopter, GPRS, from air to ground. And of course, the police on ground will pick him up, or any of the security agencies. I want to believe that would be a deterrent. That's what happens in advanced countries.
Mr. Maha, I want to go back a bit to what my colleague Tomilola just stated earlier, do you subscribe to state policing, the state police? And also, you said something, and I laughed here, concerning the Rangers, that it's just a mass burial. Now, because even the police, at times, we tend to find that most of them are not well trained. You tend to just say, okay, you come, you've been recruited, you are a corporal now, go out there, carry your weapon, go and fight a terrorist without adequate training. I've seen how NYPD, LAPD, all this, how rigorous their training looks like. But this is not so here in Nigeria. For me, if this can be achieved, will security be enhanced better in this country?
Yes. I'll tell you one thing for free.
Yes, sir.
The best police officers anywhere in the world are found in Nigeria. When we send our Nigerian policemen on peacekeeping, they get up all the whole laurels. But when they come back to Nigeria, the same people fail. The question is why? What? The truth, the problem, and the answer is Nigeria. Not the individual, Nigeria, governance. And I said earlier on, the body language from the presidency actually is what determines what goes on. And we need to call a spade and not a shovel. If you motivate them, I can assure you, insecurity in Nigeria will become a thing of the past. I said earlier on here, I said not the Rangers if there's going to be a mass burial. I said a joint task force. And the reasons are, each of these people I mentioned, the 5 set of persons I mentioned, are specialists. They have different forms of training. And with their training, they will now infuse what they know to the others. The others will learn from them. I mentioned the DSS, Department of State Security. I mentioned the military. I mentioned the police. I mentioned the civil defense. And finally, the local hunters. When you have a fusion of this, 5 people, you are going to get something formidable. Just like you mentioned, PD and the New York State Police and all that. Yes, they bring in experts to come and train them once in a while. Our people have the training. Though it may call it localized, you cannot bring in foreign security to come and tackle the problem here. It has to be localized. So what I'm saying here is that these so-called agro rangers must be armed. They must be tutored in conflict resolution management, know how to broker peace at any point in time. They must be taught in combat maneuvers what to do, because you do not know the enemy, but the enemy knows you. That's another factor here too. Attack and counter-attack operations and strategic planning, because they are there inside the bush, in the farms. How then do you communicate? I spoke about the issue of communication. So unless they are taught these things, they've been trained, they know what to do at any point in time, and they're brothers keepers. I know what A is going to do at any point. I know what B is going to do. A and B know what I'm going to do as C. And that's the point.
All right, so let's look at the last protest that youth went out in mass in various parts of the state. Not all, but some part of the state. What is the impact of insecurity, the protest in insecurity?
Yeah, the protest was staged. We know what they said they were going to do, the calling. It affects everybody. We all go to the market. We all know the price of stuff has gone up. But one thing I want to say here is that the economy in Nigeria is not in isolation. The economy all over the world is all just in the same way. In America, in Britain, in Europe, in Russia, Nigeria, in Ghana, everything seems to be going way out of order. So what is a new world order now? Protest in itself is okay if protest is managed properly. If protest is managed properly, it is very, very okay, as long as it goes within the confines of what it was agreed to go on. But when protest leads to demonstration, and demonstration leads to riots, being hijacked, then it becomes a problem. And that is what I personally do not welcome. If not, it will be a loss for all concerned. Yes, this protest went fine. It went on. To me, it's the first protest I have witnessed that went with very little casualty in terms of losses and everything. We must have all the guys who were the organizers, including the security agencies, which tried to manage it. I know there were some careless things that happen here and there, but well, I'll say it's a pass mark. We're learning. We all learn every day. And if this is the way protests being conducted, fine, no problem. But I want to say that the protest, or what you call demonstration, anything of that sort, has effects both on individuals and on the nation. First and foremost, there's a disruption in state business, loss of man hours and revenue. Nigeria lost money. There's no doubt about it during this process. Industries lost money. Companies lost money. Everybody did, including you and I. Threat to the sovereignty of the nation because people were apprehensive. What's going to happen next? And that's why the chief of defense staff came up and said, no, there cannot be anything. Nothing's going to lead to a coup. The military are behind democracy. And I was happy with that statement because when such statements are not being said, all kinds of rumors will begin to parade itself that it could lead probably a loss of confidence in government. And of course, when that comes up, they're going to call, there'll be, if not control, there'll be confusion, chaos, crisis, conflicts, and of course, it will lead to curfews, coups and counter coups, and it bring to change. At the end of the day, a collapse in the entire system. Capital flight, human flight, Nigeria goes down. Thank God that wasn't the case with us, and we pray it will not be our case. That will not be our portion. However, with the individual, with the likes of you and I, there were threats everywhere. People were panicking. In panic, rumors fly up and down. Irrational decisions are being taken. Oh, we do not know how it's going to last. Buy fuel, keep fuel at home. Buy drugs, keep money, do this. Of course, it leads to loss of life, fires there. If your petrol, which you're trying to stop, doesn't stay long or you don't take good care of it, robbery and things like that. But thank God, the spate of it didn't lead. We didn't get so much of that, a few abductions here and there. But people used that as an umbrella to push in their own ways for their own selfish things. Something assault, mugging, rape, death and looting. We had cases of looting in the north. And of course, by the pictures of what we saw on television, thanks to you guys in journalism, look at the people that were involved. Youngsters, teenagers, between the age of 14 to and maybe 19, 20. Those are the people that were used. And that tells you what's going on. And it is totally wrong and uncalled for, where you use other people's children to achieve your own lot. If you're doing that, come out and say, let's see the faces of the people who are demonstrating. Not demonstrating, protesting, that was done in Abuja. Let's see their faces. The ones who were in Lagos, we saw those ones. And don't use children for crying out loud. It's not helpful because when they get to that age now, they'll think that is the name of the game.
Mr. Maha, before we allow you go this morning, my last question is going to be a two-in-one. This moment, why is the federal government not calling for help from foreign nations to help in curbing the spate of insecurity in Nigeria? And what can the federal government do to get it right?
Well, to start with, you cannot call for help. You can't bring in the CIA or what they might call themselves, there, or MI5. They also have their own problems. There were protests in England. I'm sure you're aware of it.
Yeah. Yes.
America is the most unsafest place to be in at any point in time. Well, I don't know if you're looking at America as a country, no, but look at America as a continent. America has its own grappling problems of insecurity. I can tell you for free.
Absolutely.
You can't go to South Africa. The crime rate in South Africa is per minute. It's worse than Nigeria. The only problem with Nigeria is that ours is that each time a crime takes place, a life goes immediately. And again, our media doesn't help matters. And for some reasons, people don't like Nigeria. So any little thing, Nigeria, go to any part of the world, they're killings. Go to Turkey, go to Libya, go anywhere. Is it Israel you're going to? There are problems everywhere, but we don't hear about it. But Nigeria is always the worst case scenario. Why? I do not know. But let's go this way. You cannot import security to a local scenario. No, you can't. I cannot take security from Lagos and take it to Sokoto. Security is localized. I state and I wait for anybody to come and correct me on that. Security is localized. You can only bring persons within that area to come in to look at the situation and come up with solutions. Security, again, too, stems from the top to the bottom. The governor himself must be in full control, must say, yes, this is what I need. I said, want to declare a state of emergency. The governor steps down and the president appoints an administrator to take over since the governor has failed or the governor is biased. But we have all what it takes. Like I said before, the issue of the Northeast, if the presidency is serious about it, all the service chiefs' offices must move to the Northeast. And that is it. If you're talking of the issue herdsmen invasion there in Benue State, know the location. The governor should then move the office of the commissioner of police and all the security chiefs there in Benue. Don't go down there and stay there and sort the issues out. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And tell them, look, you're not coming back until the issue is resolved and there's peace and tranquility there. If not, you can drop the letter of resignation. We appoint somebody else who's ready to go. And that's why I said it's a body language that speaks. We have all what it takes. We have the weaponry, we have the money, we have the resources, and we have the human intellect. I don't think any country in the world has the kind of human intellect we have in Nigeria. We have the best of the crops of intellectuals, but we're not harnessing what we have.
That's
the bottom line.
That's a beautiful one. And I believe as well, I concur with you. Nigeria, we do have the best of the best. We just need certain brush ups, and then we'll compete with the best in the world as well. Mr. CHUKS, MAHA, PhD, a security expert and analyst. It's always a delight speaking with you. Thanking you indeed for your very, very amazing and preferring solutions. And we hope the government and those in powers will listen to this as well. Thanking you indeed. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Tunde. Thank you. Love it.
All right,
welcome, sir.
Okay, and this is what it looks like. I don't know. Tell me, yeah, security-wise, I hope you are very, very. You have that around you, security-wise.
Of course.
It's needed because in one way or the other, we all need to be very security conscious around our environments and what have you. Probably we'll send you on a tour. You'll help us out.
Hopefully.
Oh, great.
Out of the country, though.
No.
Not within.
Maiduguri. And that's going to be the size of the show this morning. Thanking you all indeed for being a part of us this morning. We'll be back again tomorrow, Friday. And that's the TGIF. Thank God it's Friday edition of the program, Morning Spring, to the entire transmission and broadcast team for this early morning belt, our directors, the camera team, everybody. Thanking you. I'm a producer as well, before I get smacked on the show. Tunde Idowu is my name. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Irresistible TD on X.
And I am Tomilola Daniel. Join us tomorrow for another edition of the show. Bye for now.